Welcome back to Art with Mr. Bentley. Good morning, artists. Today we are going to create our very own Romero Britto inspired landscapes. So when we think about landscapes, we're going to think about pictures or drawings of land. In Romero Britto's style, what he liked to incorporate is shapes, patterns, and line into his works. Oh, there he is. Hi, Romero. So, boys and girls, this is the famous Brazilian artist Romero Britto. Romero Britto was a self-taught artist, meaning he never went to art school. So his works like to combine the following styles of pop art and cubism. Most often when people think of popular art or pop art, the first artist that usually comes to mind is Andy Warhol. And of course, when we think about cubism, the first artist that usually comes to mind is Pablo Picasso. And of course, he used shapes, patterns to create his abstract style of art. So not only was Romero Britto really into painting and drawing, but he found that shift or transition that style into creating sculptures. So a lot of times his sculptures are really amazing renderings of previous works that he created first as paintings. One of his most famous quotes is, "Art is too important not to share." Let's think about this. Boys and girls, do you recognize this famous lady here? Yes, if you said Statue of Liberty or Lady Liberty, you're absolutely correct. So, what we are going to do today, boys and girls, is focus on our landscape using a Romero Britto style. So, we're going to walk through the steps, and at the end of this lesson, you will have an amazing drawing of a landscape based on Romero Britto style, of course. So, we are going to focus on color, shape, lines, and patterns. Let's get started. First things first, boys and girls, what we are going to do is write our name on our papers. Pencil, of course. Next, flip your paper over. Let's get started. So what we are going to do is start with curved lines. What I'm going to do is at least 1, 2, 3 curved lines on my paper. So once I have these curved lines, not only will they represent my hills, but they would also represent my horizon line. So now that I have 3 curved lines on my paper, this is what I'm going to use as my horizon line getting started. Next, what I'm going to do is choose one of the gaps in between your hill section and think about how you want to create your semicircle for your sun. So I'm going to start on the right side gap, and it's also going to look like a hill in the background as well. So this here, boys and girls, this is where my sun is going to be placed. Next, what we want to add is at least 6 vertical lines. Can you create more than 6? Absolutely. Can you think about having more wavy lines, zigzag lines? Absolutely, changing up the style. Remember, you are the artist. Think about how you want to incorporate your lines. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So the reason why I'm incorporating at least 6 lines is that I like the look and how it breaks up my paper as a whole. If you want, like I said before, more or less, feel free to do so. Next thing we're going to do, so we're going to think about our favorite shapes. So if you incorporate your favorite shapes and they overlap in between your vertical lines, it's perfectly fine, because what you're now going to have is another section to create more patterns and designs inside. So it's okay if your lines overlap with your shapes. It's going to have a really nice design overall as a whole. So again, the more shapes you have, the more patterns you can incorporate in both sections. So think about your favorite shape. What I'm going to use, boys and girls, on my background are going to be hearts. Remember, you can also change up your shapes into different shapes that you like as well. So now that I have my shapes on my paper, the next thing that I'm going to think about are patterns. So I'm going to say, I think I'm going to start with the hearts. I can think about curved lines, circles, diagonal lines, zigzag lines. You could think about wavy lines, spiral lines. Boys and girls, you are the artist, and it is up to you to think about your particular pattern, your style. The more shapes and designs you add to your painting, it's going to really pop in that Romero Britto style. So what I did was I started with designs on my shapes. Then once I have designs on my shapes, boys and girls, you can think about adding shapes, designs, patterns in between those spaces or gaps on your paper. So take a look at the example on the screen. You can, of course, use this as a reference, but also be creative. Think about your different styles you want to incorporate, patterns, shapes, elements of line. If you would like to make up your own shapes, that's really cool as well. Think about making up your own shapes, your own designs and patterns. Sometimes you're going to see that there's a nice flow to it, and it's almost as if there's a pattern that you're creating without even thinking about it. Other times, boys and girls, you're going to see that there's going to be so many different shapes and designs and styles that it seems as though it doesn't flow as much. But I guarantee, boys and girls, when you finish creating your artwork, this piece is going to look amazing. So once you're finished that, let's think about reviewing, of course. You're going to add color to your drawings as well. So we can think about bright colors, of course, thick black lines to outline. If you don't have a black marker to outline, perfectly fine. You can choose your favorite color to outline. I think that when you're, of course, outlining, it does give your landscapes more of a pop, but it's up to you to think about your particular style. Remember, you are the artist. So, Romero Britto, of course, is the artist of the week, but he will also be our author. And this book of the week is Happy, and Romero Britto designed this. This is going to be a really colorful, amazing book that's going to show us a lot of happy paintings and designs. Thank you for joining me today. Have a great day. Please feel free to email me at any time to share your works with me. I can't wait to see your Romero Britto landscapes. I think that they're going to be amazing. So have a great day. I will see you soon. Thank you for joining this art session with me today.